Hello and welcome to the thrill of the chase, a very special Warrnambool edition as we count down to the 2021 Warrnambool Cup. It's always a great race and this year looks to be no exception. A field full of hot sprinters all chasing the first prize of the Warrnambool Cup. Now it's going to be a wonderful race, we'll touch on that a little bit later on, but back from a spell. We haven't seen Molly Haynes on the show for a while and she's back here for the Warrnambool Cup night meeting. Hello to you, Molly.
Hello, thank you very much for the very kind welcome. I did welcome my beautiful daughter Harriet into the world not too long ago, but it is great to be back on the desk and talking all things Warrnambool for this May Racing Carnival.
How's life as a mum? There's nothing better, is there?
Oh, absolutely not. I've pretty much joined a mother's group with your wife Chloe and Sunny, who towers over little Harriet,
yes.
But I'm sure they'll be the best of friends in the future.
Yes, well, that's Harriet and Sunny. Let's turn our attention now to a man who's coming in via Zoom, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that. George Ferrugia, hello to you, my friend.
Hello, Jim Bob. Nice to see you.
What's happened here, mate? You couldn't make it into the studio. I hear you're on a flight back from Perth, and there was a bit of COVID on that flight, so you've had to go into a 14-day lockdown.
Yeah, it's always fun getting locked down with three screaming kids, and God bless Cheryl. She's been amazing. But, yeah, we obviously got to do the right thing and protocols in place. We've tested negative a few times, so I think we're out of the woods, but we just had to do the right thing and make sure we stayed at home. And so I can't be in there with you today, which is a shame because it's a great place to be, but hopefully we can dissect the Warrnambool Cup from home.
Well, you look pretty comfortable there, George, in the room of champions. Plenty of winning photos in the background of George Ferrugia's lounge room, that's for sure. Before we get into the races and the results from last week from the heats of the Warrnambool Cup, let's take a look at what's happening on the show this evening. Now, there's a lot. Where do we start? We're going to go through each of the runners, as we spoke of the Warrnambool Cup. We're going to check in with club manager from Warrnambool, Craig Monaghetti, obviously the challenges of running a country cup during this COVID time. Also, Jared Sharp and Barry Smith, they're going to join us to talk about their chances in the Warrnambool Cup and also what it's like to be local legends of the sport. And a little bit later on, we'll catch up with a Warrnambool trainer on the rise. So let's set the agenda now and take a look at the races from last week, the heats. And we're going to start with the first heat of the Warrnambool Cup, and it was won by Dream Wizard, Molly, jumping from box number 1, and he's a greyhound that just keeps on going.
Absolutely. He's been in a few country cups now, and I think third time lucky the Lithgows are hoping for. They bred this greyhound out of a fantastic staying greyhound in Gotham Queen. She produced on the track, she also produced on the coursing track, and now she's producing through her pups. But it was a great run here. I think this greyhound, there's no doubt, really benefits from an inside draw, and I think drawing box 2 in the Warrnambool Cup is going to be a nice little advantage for him.
Well, look, as I said, he just kept going. We had the box draw just prior to this video. I was getting excited. I wanted to get into Dream Wizard because he was so impressive. And what I liked about his win last week, Molly, is he was just able to fight off a couple of handy dogs who were chasing pretty hard.
Absolutely, and you know, another little tidbit to add to Dream Wizard, his dad, Walk Hard, was a Warrnambool Cup finalist in 2016, so hopefully he can go a couple better than his father, but I mean, a lot of things are going to have to go right, unfortunately. Yeah,
look, he's drawn well. George, box number 2, Dream Wizard, how do you see him going from that alley?
Yeah, look, the split suggests that he should be able to find the fence. He certainly went a length and a half quicker than what Do It did to the first marker. And what I like about this greyhound is his consistency. He's been unbelievable in the last 2 to 3 months, to be honest, against some very, very good greyhounds. And he's done it from really awkward draws at times. Yeah, look, they deserve at least a country cup placing. I think they might be able to get the job done on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I agree with that. They've been knocking on the door. They won the Horsham Cup Consolation, the connections as well with Gotham Duke, so they are knocking on the door. Quara Bale, box number 5. She was able to run them along, dominate from an awkward draw. This was pretty impressive work, Molly.
Absolutely. Look, she's a young greyhound, the only female in the field, but a young greyhound who just continues to go better and better with each start. I did speak to Tom Daly over the weekend, and he did say, look, she's really hard up against it, but there's certainly going to be time for this greyhound in the future, and I think that's the main thing. It was a great run, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do when she's stepping up to this class of greyhound.
Well, she did everything right from box number 5, George. She's obviously going to have to do the same again, and there's a little bit more depth in the final this week.
Yeah, there's some speed drawn on her outside too. Obviously, Denzel Bale likes to look for the fence as well, but I think Molly's point is on point. I mean, she's only young. She's only just turned 2. She's won 10 out of 19. She burst onto the scene running 24.82 as a young greyhound at Ballarat. And yeah, look, she's more than capable. She was the second quickest heat winner behind Shimmer Shine. And I think the Dailies would love to see her win. She's by Alan Deed, a greyhound they raced, and he's starting to get some success at stud. So it'll be a big effort, but look, she's more than capable. I think there's a group win in her.
Yeah, well, she's heading in the right direction, no doubt about that, Quara Bale. Up next was potentially the run of the night. It was Shimmer Shine doing what Shimmer Shine does. He's been renowned a little bit of late, Molly, to dominate heats and then maybe fail in the final. Of course, he won the Horsham Cup, but he's just so impressive in this run. Got the talk, qualifiers for the final. We saw that a moment ago as a reserve, but he turned this heat 3 of the Warrnambool Cup, into a one-act affair. He
sure did. Look, he's the veteran pretty much of this field. He's certainly got the runs under the belt, I should say. He's out of some amazing stock in Shimmer Song, who won a Geelong Cup, but he's a greyhound that just thrives, I think, on competition. I know there is, like you mentioned, that the question mark of the backing up from heat to finals in these country cups, but I don't think you can ever discount a star, and Shimmer Shine is certainly that.
He is exactly that. When we speak of the Western Festival of Racing, he's already taken out one of those country cups in the Horsham Cup. And George, can he win the Warrnambool Cup as well? The 450, do you see that suiting him?
Yeah, look, I think that the key to him is just from box rise. If he's able to step with them, clearly he's the best greyhound in the race. Not often do you see a greyhound run that quick, and then there's not much. There was a lot between. First and second fastest. I mean, I think he was about 2 or 3 lengths quicker. Not many other greyhounds broke the 25-second barrier. How often have we seen him either break a track record or get close to a track record? So it's all in the start for Shimmer Shine. He won that Horsham Cup from coming from last. He missed the kick badly, but he had a wide draw, and I think that helped him. A little bit more tricky from box 5 this week, but watch out. I mean, I'd love to see him win it. He's been a terrific greyhound for a long time. He's so quick, and he's never won from box 5, so I think that's a little bit of a hoodoo, but clearly he's the top tip.
Be a great race to break that hoodoo in the Warrnambool Cup, no doubt about that. Denzel Bale, an outsider who scored last Thursday in a heat of the Warrnambool Cup, was $29 on the tote. Jumped from box number 4, punched through to lead, and the Grenfell Kennel, Molly, they're no stranger to success, especially in the country cups.
Absolutely. Look, it's going to take more than everything to go right for Denzel to come away with a victory in this one, but he's had 77 career starts, 11 of those victories, 18 seconds and 19 thirds, so he's a greyhound that's always in the money. He's certainly been there, and he's a really, really good bread and butter dog, and I think that's what greyhound racing's all about. You know, we talk about our Shimmer Shines and even our Yozo Bales, but when you've got a Denzel Bale, a greyhound that goes week in, week out, it's just fantastic to have him in a country cup field, and I'm glad we get to see him go around.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and it was his first win in 22 starts, so what a time to bring it up in a heat of a group race. And he's going to have a say in this race because he does possess a lot of early speed. He went 6.49 to the marker. Quara Bale, who's drawn near him, went 6.48, and Shimmer Shine went 6.49. There's not much between those greyhounds drawn next to each other. But from the replays I've watched of Denzel Bale, he likes to jump and then push towards the fence. So he could make the race for Shimmer Shine here. He can begin, as we said, and we'll be looking towards getting to the rail. So that could shape the race. He might not be in some of the class of some of these other greyhounds, but I think he'll have a say in it.
What I really liked about that win of Denzel Bale was the last 50 metres. He looked under pressure. Zipping Walter was challenging. He was able to lift and respond. A little bit later in the show, we're going to chat to Barry Smith, and this was one of his runners that qualified, or the only runner that qualified for Barry in the Warrnambool Cup, and it was Mapunga Warrior. He's such a strong animal, this one, Molly. He was too good. He jumped from box number 2. To come out midfield against this quality of field and then draw away to win the way he did by nearly a length and a half, beating Tiggerlong Tonk, who's fresh off a Perth Cup. It was a tremendous effort to win.
Absolutely. Look, he's a greyhound that's been up and about for a while now. He ran 4th to Kismo, I've forgotten his name, Kuro Kisma in the launching pad. So the dog's been around and been in good races, and I think there's going to certainly be a lot of people down at Warrnambool who know the story behind Barry Smith and his Mapunga dogs that are going to be cheering this greyhound home. I think that's going to be really, really special if he does happen to pick up a Warrnambool Cup.
Georgie, can he win it?
Oh, look, he's going to have to get a lot of things go his way, obviously. He announced himself in that launching pad series. I thought he was outstanding. His last 50 to 100 metres in some of those runs were brilliant. The box draw probably doesn't make it too easy. There's speed everywhere you look. So he's going to have to drop back and rely on a little bit of luck. He has been beginning a little bit better. It would be a fairy tale victory, of course, to be the local hero. Is Adamapunga Rosie, who's been an unbelievable producer, and we'll probably touch on that with Barry a little bit later. It would be a dream effort for Barry to win his local cup, but he's going to have a couple of things go right, I'd suggest.
Shepparton Cup winner Ferdinand Boy went on to win the Ballarat Cup. He was searching for 3 straight 450-metre country cups in the Warrnambool Cup. The party was spoiled by the greyhound Do It, and as Brendan Delaney said in the call, Molly, Do It did it, and he got there right on the line to tip out Ferdinand Boy, who was the favourite for the race.
He sure did. It was just the strength of Do It that really did it for me. He just showed, he looks like a big dog on screen. I actually don't know how much he weighs, but he looks like a big dog in running, and you can see where he come from. He's in box number 8 here. He had to work around the outside, but he took the right gaps, and I think that's a really, really promising thing. I cannot wait for us to have a chat with Jared Sharp. He's one of the best guys in greyhound racing, and I think there'll be certainly a fair few cheers if he does do the exact same thing in the Warrnambool Cup.
It was a big run, that one, George, and as Molly stated, that the field sense is what won him that race, because Ferdinand Boy went for home. If it wasn't for Do It taking the shortcut, ducking and weaving, he probably wouldn't have run him down.
Oh, absolutely. It was a tremendous victory. He started his career, he was beating up on dogs as he was going through grades, and he's taken a while to get back up to the level that we know he can run at, and it was terrific for him to make the Warrnambool Cup. He's been in some semi-finals where he just hasn't been able to get over the line, but as we said, that track sense, he's starting to work it all out now. It just seems to have lost a little bit early to the first marker, so the heat's going to be on, but he's drawn well, and if he can use his brains from box 1, he's certainly in contention.
Heat number 7 was won by Denzel Bale. Now, I think we all thought when he come out to win the Bendigo Cup last year, that may well have been a bit of a fluke. He then went on to win the Ballarat Cup, and now he finds himself in the Warrnambool Cup.
He sure did, and he also ran second to Woe in the Temlee as well, which is the invitational race. He's a greyhound that has just really exceeded expectations. But you know what I love about this? So for young trainers Corey and Sam Grenfell, if Denzel Bale picks up this country cup, that'll be his 3rd country cup in the calendar year, that means he will get a $50,000 bonus. So $50,000 on top of the $50,000 first prize. It's certainly really, really exciting for them and their young family, and I suppose there's plenty of reasons to cheer on most of these contenders, but I think that's an extra special one.
Yeah, and Gypsy Yankee ran second in that race there, Molly, getting within about 3/4 of length, and comes up as a reserve for the final. And George, Denzel Bale, he's just a super dog, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He's proven time and time again, and as Molly alluded to, that run behind Wow in the Temlee proved that he could do it on both 1-turn and 2-turn tracks. Wasn't a surprise to see him win. I don't know what you guys' thoughts are, but I think he's really well drawn too in this cup from box 8. He can show a little bit of speed. I think there'll be a couple of greyhounds heading towards the fence. There's some speed in the middle. I don't mind where he's drawn. He's certainly in contention for mine, and can he make it 3 country cups? It would be a tremendous effort.
It's going to be a very, very big effort if he is able to win Denzel Bale. He's got to do it from a wide draw as well. Final heat of the Warrnambool Cup last Thursday, and it was won by the Cranbourne Cup winner in Jax Bale. And a little bit like Do It, we'll start with you, George. He had to duck and weave throughout the race, and he finished off very, very quickly, coming from last to win the race.
Yeah, it just proves that this greyhound can do it at both ends, James. I mean, we've seen him in that country cup that he won, the Cranbourne Cup, where he actually began really well from a wide draw and was too good for them. And that's why I think he's a sneaky place chance at some really nice odds here, Jax Bale, because that's not his usual go-to move. He usually can begin a lot better than that. He's going to have to, obviously, in a race like this. But that was a tremendous victory. It shows he's racing in really good form. And I think if he can begin a little bit cleaner, he'll be right in this race. I think he's certainly probably the overs bet of the race going into the Warrnambool Cup.
That's the key, isn't it, Molly? Jax Bale be getting better. He led Ping to win the Cranbourne Cup. He's come from last to win a heat of the Warrnambool Cup. If he does begin, we know what he can do. Absolutely.
Look, I actually think his Warrnambool Cup heat victory was probably the eye-catching heat win of the night. I know Shimmer Shine put the time on the board, and Do It had a fantastic performance too, but there was something about Jax Bale's explosive speed. He's not a young dog either, and I do think he probably holds the key to the race. I think if he does begin like you you and George have mentioned, it may just hold out Yozo Bale, meaning that the inside is, a shimmer shine is probably going to get that clear break. But if he misses it and Yozo Bale gets to cross, you think, oh, what can happen here?
That's exactly right. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. So much more to come on the Thrill of the Chase. We'll have our all-important tips for the big one. We're going to get some very, very good chats through with Barry Smith and also Monaghan, the man from Warrnambool. So much more to come. Stay tuned on the Thrill of the Chase. Welcome back now to the Thrill of the Chase, the special Warrnambool Cup edition as we count down to the big one, the Warrnambool Cup tonight. It's going to be a wonderful race. Now, we're very lucky to be joined on the line via Zoom by Barry Smith, a local legend, a Hall of Famer and an owner of a runner in this year's Warrnambool Cup in Mapunga Warrior. Hello to you, Barry, and welcome along.
Hi, James. Thanks for having me on.
Mate, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about this runner tonight. You've got Mapunga Warrior in the Warrnambool Cup. How do you think he's going to go? He flashed home to win last start. Can he get it for the locals in the Warrnambool Cup this year?
I'd love to think so, James, but I'd love another 60 or 70 metres on the race. He's just a bit tardy early and comes home hard, but I think you'll see more of him when he gets over the 600. Look, I'm hoping. I'd love to win it, but being a realist, you would say shimmer shine at the moment.
Absolutely, Barry. Look, Mapunga Warrior's heat win was certainly an eye-catching one. He pushed through really well, but it was his strength, like you mentioned, that really, really impressed all the onlookers in those heats. But what I want to know, the Mapunga name, James and I may know where the Mapunga name came from, but how about you, you give our viewers the reasoning behind your Mapunga prefix for all the dogs you've got running out there?
Yeah, it was years and years ago, Molly, when a lot of Dad's old friends were in their 70s, 80s and even 90, and they liked to follow me dogs. And there was different names on the dogs at that stage, and they used to have to look it up and they couldn't find them. So we live in Mapunga, which is a little place out of Warrnambool, 25 k's out. And we decided to use that prefix, and they could just go through and check the name Mapunga and follow the dogs. And so we've just kept that going for all that time.
Well, there's been a couple of really good ones to come with the Mapunga name. We speak of Mapunga Blazer, who might be the star of all the Mapungas, and I just had a look on the stats. He's currently in 9th position when it comes to stud dogs in Australia and New Zealand based on prize money. So do you pinch yourself to think you've bred and reared such a champion greyhound who's now gone on to be such a good stud dog as we see him now win the Maturity Classic?
I guess, James, we all try to do it. It's hard to succeed, but he was bred to chase, and being a Group 1 winner and his mum a Group 1 winner and his dad a Group 1 winner, we thought we had a pretty good chance. So, and as it's turned out, he was had a lot of breeders go to him for a start. So he's achieved that at the moment. We're really happy.
Yeah, his strike rate very good, around 17% for his pups that are racing now. The Warrnambool town itself, this time of year, there's this special feeling, this special buzz when you talk about the Warrnambool Cup and you've got the Gallops Carnival, it's all happening down there. Is it exciting being a local trainer, a local legend of the sport, and having a runner in that Warrnambool Cup tonight?
Yes, it is exciting. We had one many years ago and got beaten by a half a head by Denzel Bale. As you know, he was a champion and he beat us by half a head in Silver Chief the same year. So we missed that one. And really, a lot of things would have to go right for this one to get up, because he'll run better over the 600, I think.
Now, Barry, James touched on a little bit the Warrnambool community, but can you talk us through just how tight-knit the training community is down there? I know that you're always willing to lend a hand to local traders. You think your Adam Richardsons, your Maddie Wrights, and the list goes on, but can you talk us through just that tight-knit community that exists down in Warrnambool?
Yeah, it is a tight-knit community, Molly. Everyone likes to see everyone do well. They're all mates. Everybody in the district, everyone knows everyone, and they're always following each other's dogs. And if someone's stuck and has a hard time, there's always someone behind there to help.
All the owners and trainers are sitting there at the moment. They know we've got Barry Smith on the line. They're all after the success you've had. What do you put down great success when it comes to greyhound breeding and rearing? What's the one thing?
Common sense. I think
we all can get that too.
Yeah, no, when I started, I sort of went down a line that I wanted to go down, and as luck happened, pennies dropped for me, and it's kept going. Now it's been going for 50 years, and I think once you've got your own line, you know what you're doing, or you hope you know what you're doing. But if somebody asked me on someone else's line, I wouldn't have a clue because I don't follow any dogs except my own breed.
Well, that was the first question I had for the viewers out there. The second one is, we want a greyhound to follow that we can claim our own on the thrill of the chase. Who's the best Mapunga greyhound coming through, in your opinion? Is it Mapunga Reject, who has already put together a nice string of Metropolitan wins?
I think you'll have to wait for probably a month or two. I've had Mapunga Mia's last litter has gone down to Jeff and Angela's, and Jeff rang the other night singing the praise of these pups. So I think you'll have to wait for those to start. All the ones racing, you know them now and everybody watches them, but we'll wait for these young ones.
Well, I think that's good enough for us. We're going to download the Watchdog app and make sure we keep an eye on those pups as they progress through their career. Thanks for joining us on the show, mate, and good luck with Mapunga Warrior in the Warrnambool Cup. I'm sure he'll run a big race.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, there he is, local legend of the Warrnambool area, Barry Smith with Mapunga Warrior in the Warrnambool Cup. Still so much more to come. After the break, we've got Molly's Lounge. Don't go anywhere. You're back with the thrill of the chase, and well, it's great to have Molly Haynes, or Molly Shaw as she's now known, on the thrill of the chase, but it wouldn't be the thrill of the chase without Molly's Lounge. And here it is in studio. Welcome back to Molly's Lounge.
Thank you very much, James. Now, first of all, I have to declare a conflict of interest. This is Tom and his gorgeous greyhound Poppy, and Tom did actually adopt Poppy from me and my husband, James. As you can see, she's a beautiful little animal here. Very, very well behaved. First of all, Molly. First of all, Tom, welcome.
Thanks for having us, Molly.
I'm glad you corrected me there. Now, Poppy, first of all, we need to thank Georgie, who also works at Croc Media, for, I suppose, introducing us. And first of all, I wanted to know, why did you decide a greyhound? What was it about a greyhound that you thought, this is right for my family?
At the time, we were living in an apartment and we heard only good things about greyhounds. And as mentioned, fortunate enough to work here at Sports Entertainment Network. And GRV are one of our very much loved clients here. And Georgie got us in contact, and sort of, I guess, the rest was history.
Now, talk us through the day you came down to our kennels in Lara and you got to meet Poppy. She was racing at the time.
Yes.
Talk me through what that experience was like coming to see a kennel.
Yeah, it was great. It was.
As Poppy's cleaning herself at the moment.
Stop that. It was great. It was a really eye-opening experience, and just to see how well James and yourself treated the dogs and how well they were well looked after. And now she's up. It was great, and it was It was not what I expected, but it was what I expected, and I knew that they were treated perfectly and everything like that. So it was great.
Now, adopting direct from the trainer, you have that opportunity to be able to connect with Poppy's past life as well. So you got to come out and meet her mum, and also some little pups running around. Did you enjoy that? Was it what you expected? Yeah,
loved it. It was great. Very thankful for the opportunity for inviting us down to meet Yogi, Poppy's mum, and definitely could see the similarities in Poppy and her mum. So it was great to meet the little pups and have a little play with them as well.
Now, Poppy's race name was Arch Enemy, and she actually won her first race at Warrnambool. So our episode all about the Warrnambool Cup, we got to watch Poppy win her first race, and as we can see on the screen, actually, we've got some gorgeous photos of how Poppy fits into your life. Tom, I have to say that was probably the best thing about you adopting from us, the fact that we're able to keep in contact, and I mean, you were able to watch her first win and almost carry on as if she was your dog during her short career.
Exactly right. When we first watched the first race, we were sort of very happy that she won, but at the same time we were like, I hope she doesn't do too well, so we can get her sooner rather than later. But she was unbelievable to see her win there in Warrnambool, and we watched her from there. I think she had 12 or 11 race starts, and then was very fortunate and thankful for you and James. You decided to retire her, and she came home.
Absolutely, and while you were meeting Poppy at our kennels, you also got to meet Donald,
Yes.
also known as Bold Underarm.
Yes.
And I know that you and your beautiful partner Kate have a baby on the way, but you've made it very clear you need Donald somewhere in your vicinity, whether it's with you, with your friends, or Donald needs to be around. So that's another really special relationship.
Exactly right. Yeah, we fell in love with Donnie first time we met him at your kennels, and yeah, like to see him, watch him run. He's on my black book, and yeah, every time he runs, we like to watch him and have a little flutter on him as well. So yeah, no, it's great. We love Donnie.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Tom, Poppy, thank you so much for your time on Molly's Lounge. And now we are going to take a look at a local, I suppose, a young local trainer and what it takes to be, I suppose, a young guy in the sport. That's Kurt Howard.
I got involved with greyhounds through my pop. Yeah, when he was, from when I was a little baby really. He always had the dogs.
I've known Kurt for a number of years now when he used to come up to the track with his grandfather, Jerry Taylor, and I got to know Kurt then, and he's always that enthusiastic young boy to help his grandfather, and he's carried on that tradition.
Poppy was 73. He was just out getting fishing bait with a friend and doing what he loved, and yeah, he just had a heart attack, so yeah, which was unexpected.
It was very much a big shock to everyone, and you know, our hearts went out to everyone involved in the family.
It was difficult, but having the dogs have certainly helped coping with it. Pop taught me pretty much everything I know about the greyhounds, and he was my biggest mentor by far. I miss everything really.
As was going to be the situation, you know, Jerry had a number of greyhounds and that, and for Kurt to take up the position then of looking after the greyhounds and developing his own career has just been so admirable for the young lad.
I didn't expect to be training him at this age. I'm only 25, and yeah, he's considered pretty young in training greyhounds.
Jerry would be looking down now and saying, well, you should be doing this, Kurt, and you should be doing this, and this is what you should be doing, and but he would be so proud of him, that's for sure, you know.
Nah, he'd be very proud. The first race I won, well, that was with Little Miss Shooter. She normally comes out last. She's a terrible box dog, and I think she jumped second or third and actually led him probably for the first time in her career, and she was just too good in the finish. It was a great feeling to get a win, especially early in your career. I think it was the third race the same day with Big Buck, who's her little brother. He jumped in front, and he's not very strong, and halfway down the straight I thought he was going to get run down, and he actually managed to find a bit of a kick. I think Poppy was looking down that day. I reckon he pushed Buck over the line.
The animals get a feel of who's in charge, and they get very attached to their trainers and very attached in the ones that are successful. You can see a real connection between the dog and the trainer, and Kurt certainly has that.
You do get attached to them. They're hard not to, really. They're just lovely animals, and yeah, they're just great to be around.
A great story, and good luck to Kurt with his training career. Already off to a wonderful start, and he's a man that I could get some good advice with that Mo as well. Big thanks to Tom and Molly with Molly's Lounge. Don't go anywhere. More Thrill of the Chase after the break.
Scarping away in the lead, about 8-10 lengths out in front. Over Tickalong Tonk, followed by Aston Wizard. Then Who Told Stevie? But Simon Told Helen, a brilliant performer.
It's Simon Told Helen 4 in front. Hardstyle Rico gives pursuit in second. 2 to Tickalong Tonk, then Evie Infrared and Christo Bale around the turn. Simon Told Helen lead. Hardstyle Rico a length away. Simon Told Helen wins the maturity.
As we welcome you back now to the thrill of the chase, the sad news over the last month or so that the passing of Simon Told Helen. He was one of the greats of the sport, one in a million, I think you could say, Simon Told Helen, Molly, and the sad news that he passed away recently.
Absolutely, and first of all, our thoughts go out to all of the connections, trainers David Burnett, as well as Martina, who was always on side and on track to be watching Simon Told Helen, and his owners as well. We believed he suffered a twisted bowel, which is just one of those unfortunate incidents that do occur. And
freak medical type of thing, isn't it, really?
Absolutely, and look, he was such a special dog on the track, and he's a greyhound that you got excited to attend the track for because you knew it was going to be something special. I liken it a little bit to Fernando Bale. You knew you were going to turn up and see something special, and his recognisable Roman nose. It's something that has just stamped across all news outlets and everything. Everyone wanted a bit of Simon Told Helen, and George, from a breeding perspective too, he's a greyhound that I suppose has now changed the landscape because there were so many people who were going to use Simon Told Helen at stud.
Yeah, look, they were going to line up for him, weren't they? So unfortunately, that's not going to be the case now. But I guess we can just remember what a great chaser he was. Unbelievable turn of foot. He was never really great out of the box, Simon Told Helen. But then when he hit the ground, he would just take off. There was that unbelievable win in the Cup night sprint at Sandown Park on Melbourne Cup night, where he probably just put about 10 or 12 lengths on him down the back straight. And you thought then, even though he was already a Group 2 winner, that Group 1s were just going to start flowing because they're the type of attributes you need. He broke up the field, and yeah, what a ride he took trainer David Burnett and connections on it. He's an incredible greyhound, and he was one that transcended the sport. I had friends that weren't necessarily greyhound fans, but racing fans, and they always asked, how's Simon Told Helen going? So they're the type of greyhounds we need in the sport, and rest in peace, champ.
Yeah, perfectly said. And look, when you look back through his stats, 48 starts, he had 26 wins, prize money just shy of $1 million. And interestingly enough, Molly, we're on this Warrnambool Cup night edition of the show now, and for Simon Told Helen, his racing journey began at Warrnambool. That's where he burst onto the scene, and that's where he started the foundation of what ended up being a wonderful racing career. Oh,
it sure did. And then the next steps from there after this phenomenal Warrnambool victory, and I think you mentioned a Vic Breeders event. He went on with his brother, who also passed away, who told Stevie, went on to compete in a huge list of big races. He didn't quite get that $1 million mark, but James, I do believe you are giving yourself a bit of a pat on the back. Just before the segment started in the break, James was listening to the sounds of his own voice from a race call of Simon Told Helen, and I think that you've got plenty of reasons to pat yourself on the back, James.
Well, look, Molly, there was no, I guess, lying the fact I rated him as my favourite dog to watch, to follow, to call. And when I was just about to go on air here today, I just wound back a couple of the replays when I did call him, and I remember one race I called him the Roman Nose Wonder from Down Under, and he was just such a special dog. And I thought, as we're getting ready for this show, I thought, well, maybe this is my chance to throw back to the grab of when I said he was going to be a superstar, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. That's a little bit silly. And then I thought again, and I thought, no, I got this one right. I'm going to throw to my own grab, and this is how I found Simon Told Helen before anyone really even knew about him. But what I love so much about this greyhound is he just explodes when he takes off. He's a star, Simon Told Helen. Fernando Bale won $1.3 million in stakes earnings. This pup's only had 10 or 11 starts. Jack, I'm telling you now, get the black book out. Yep. A superstar in the making.
This is one that I reckon if we were sitting here in 12 months from now, we're talking about Simon Told Helen in some of the major races around the country, aren't we?
I think so. Look, I think heading toward the Australian Cup, the Golden Easter Egg, all of the feature races, we're going to be saying Simon Told Helen nearly every time. Well, you can't say that I didn't tell you so.
No, you were asking me if I'd clap you out of that little throwback, but no, congratulations. It was certainly a fantastic pick because he was a great dog. There's no doubt about that.
And I think it's good to sit back now and remember the good times as well. So Varley, rest in peace to the champion, Simon Told Helen. As we head to a break now on the thrill of the chase, we are going to touch base with manager of the Warrnambool Greyhounds, and that's Craig Monaghetti. We'll get there. That's the Warrnambool Cup coming up shortly. We're now on the home bend of this very, very special Warrnambool edition of the Thrill of the Chase. And let's get down to business. It is the eve of the big dance when it comes to Warrnambool Greyhound Racing. It is Warrnambool Cup night tonight. We've been lucky enough to be joined via Zoom by... I've gone with Carl, Craig. I've gone with a lot of different names, I think, throughout this show. I can't get it right, but he's a good mate of mine. Craig Monaghetti. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, James. You?
Oh, look, I thought you'd call me Troy just to be, a bit of a joker. But no, look, I'm going well. You must be excited. This is what it's all about for you. Preparing the track, preparing everything for this, I guess, couple of hours of racing that everybody is going to have their eyes firmly cast upon the Warrnambool Club.
Yeah, tonight's the pinnacle of racing for us. So this is what it's all about each year. This is what everyone looks forward to. We have a great summer series, but this is really the big night for us. And the town's full of punters this week, so it's great to have everyone back on course.
Yeah, well, Craig, there's been a couple of infamous punters clubs that I've ran, but when you first began at Warrnambool as the manager, can you just let the fans out there know how the punters club went, ran by myself?
Is this show about you today, James? Is it? You
Pretty
threw to
much.
yourself before, and here we go again. I must admit, I think you turned about $2,500 into 5 figures somewhere along the line. So, what do you say about that? That's pretty good going by anyone's rate.
I love the fact he was lost for words there, the great man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just trying to think of your name.
He's probably lost at the fact you continue to make the show about yourself. But, Craig, we'll swing it back to Warrnambool. We're obviously living in challenging times through COVID. Can you talk us through how you guys have had to pivot when it comes to running the Warrnambool or the May Racing Carnival in general this year?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, there was no one on course last year, so it was a strange feeling. This year, crowds are back, but it's a balancing act between getting a bigger crowd as you can possibly have, but also making it logistically possible to have a safe crowd, because obviously that's the priority, is to ensure everyone's safe while also welcoming everyone back to racing.
This time of year down at Warrnambool, Craig, there's this buzz, this certain feel, and it's just exciting to be a part of the Warrnambool Cup Series, isn't it? That time of year, early part of May, it's where all the punters seem to go.
Being biased from Warrnambool, but I think this is one of the best racing weeks of the year. Totally different feel in the country versus the city weeks. And it's nicknamed the Schoolies for over 50s down here this week. Which I think is about right. Look, the town just gets full of people and it's busier than Christmas down here.
Now, Craig, we were lucky enough this year to run 8 heats of the Warrnambool Cup, and what an absolute bonus. It's almost like we get to select the best of the best. It is very, almost cutthroat. It's a situation where you've got to win to be in the Warrnambool Cup this year.
Yeah, it was great to see 8 heats back. It's been a few years since we've been at that level, and it does make it cutthroat. I was talking to someone the other day, and similar to a lot of sports where if you're not up to it in the heats, you won't make the final. There's no second chances when you've got 8 cup heats. So it's a real cutthroat in nature.
Well, it's going to be a massive night of racing. How important is it now to have these festivals of racing as well? We see Warrnambool now part of the Western District's Festival of Racing, and it just adds an extra string to the bow, and you can start to follow these Country Cup series as they travel to different parts of Victoria. Yeah,
I think it's great. Over that 2-month period, there's non-stop quality racing in Western Victoria, which is great, off the back of the Gippsland Carnival as well. It's great to showcase the talent in the country as well as in the city.
Now, Craig, the Warrnambool Cup this year, it's a field full of some pretty extraordinary talent. Can you give us your selection of greyhound who you are really thinking will benefit from a win in the Warrnambool Cup this year?
It's obviously pretty hard to go past Shimmer Shine, but I like the way that Do It actually finished the other night and came running home. If anything the heats show us is that anyone can win on the given day. Do It beat Ferdinand Boy last week, so why can't it beat Shimmer Shine this week? Obviously love to see Mapunga Warrior get up for Barry Smith locally here as well.
That's exactly what I was just about to say, Craig. I think if the Mapunga Greyhound did manage to get up, I think it'll be an enormous cheer after that Warrnambool Cup.
Yeah, it's been a while since a local got up, so it'd be great to see it.
Well, I was going to say I've done a little bit of research into your name, Craig, just to prove I know exactly who you are. And if we're going to speak the Italian pronunciation, it's actually Craig Monagatti.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I think. Not that I can speak Italian, so I can't really comment.
Well, beautifully done, mate. Good luck in the lead up to the Warrnambool Cup. It is going to be one hell of a race, and I'm sure you'll have the venue looking stunning for what is going to be one incredible night of racing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Well, there we go, Craig Monaghetti, and I finally got it right. It's taken me a while, but he's a great man, Craig, and he'll have Warrnambool looking an absolute picture on tonight, Wednesday night, no doubt about that. We move ahead now to GRV, the initiatives that they've brought in. They've brought in a whole heap of new initiatives, and this is, I guess, in a way, giving back to the owners and trainers.
Absolutely. It's just making sure that any unspent prize money is going directly back into the trainers' pockets. And one thing that people may not be aware, greyhounds or their trainers do get an appearance fees, which we call starters fees. So they get $70 and then $10 on top of that per greyhound they receive. So that will increase at 80. Yeah, well, 70, and I think it's $10 per. Actually,
I think it's 80 and 10.
80 and then 10. Sorry, James. So it's fantastic they were able to give back in that. Also, the Great 8 series, James, I know you were a huge fan of that. That's back, and a whole other list of things, including the Pink Diamond series, which is just fantastic for Victorian breeding.
I love the Grade 8 series. As we see there, $21,000 in prize money. And what actually happens, if you're not a greyhound racing enthusiast and you don't know the nuts and bolts of the grading system, what actually happens when a greyhound gets highly graded, they need greyhounds of that same level to race, otherwise they can't put on a race. So let's say in the past, a Class 1 greyhound or a Grade 1 greyhound nominates for Sandown Park, but there are no other nominations lower than a Grade 4. They don't run a free-for-all. Therefore, the champions of our sport have to sit on the bench because there's not enough good dogs to take them on. A Grade 8 gets the 8 best dogs that can go head-to-head. I love Grade 8 racing. I'm very passionate about it.
I can certainly tell you're excited about it, and it is great. We get to see the best of these greyhounds running, competing against each other, and I think that's what it's all about. It's great for the punters and great for the fans.
Well, speaking of best, we've got best bets after the break. Don't go anywhere on the thrill of the chase. Welcome back to the thrill of the chase. This is the home straight as we approach the winning post on this special Warrnambool edition. It's my favourite part of the show in just a moment, Best Bets, where we tip plenty of winners. But just before we get to that, I wanted to chat to you, Molly, and also George, about Warrnambool stories. Has there been something you've done at Warrnambool or heard of something that's very, very good at Warrnambool?
Look, not something I've done at Warrnambool, but I think the story to come out of the Warrnambool Cup for me would have to be Do It. First time owner is involved, just thinks, you know, it's as easy as turning up, fronting some money, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got a Warrnambool Cup contender.
Yeah, well, speaking of Warrnambool Cup contenders, I reckon this would be Georgie's highlight. Not sure he remembers much of it, but one of his greyhounds, Striker Light, actually won the Warrnambool Cup, George.
Yeah, she did. She ran down, I think it was Zoom Out, in a really driving finish. So, yeah, it's the only country cup I've won, and I've got fond memories of it. And I've been to the carnival a few times afterwards, and it's always just such a great 3-day period there. And as you said, the whole town gets around it, and it is absolutely packed on Warrnambool Cup night at the Greyhounds. They do a fantastic job. So I'm sure it will be the same tonight.
The whole town gets around it. I love that line because my Warrnambool story is once I stayed down there after the Warrnambool Cup for the Greyhounds, and I took the lovely better half, the wife, and I said, well, we'll go out shopping on Thursday. Enticed her with a little bit of shopping. And what I loved about the Warrnambool Cup and the town itself, on the Thursday, next to nothing was open. Like, it is crazy how quiet the town is. They pretty much have a public holiday for the whole week.
It certainly is fantastic. Everything about Warrnambool just screams community, and I think that's why it's one of my favourite country cups.
Best bet Warrnambool Cup into match race, Georgie. Who are you tipping?
Yeah, look, it's really hard to go past Shimmer Shine. I think the greyhound in box 4, Denzel Bale, likes to jump and head towards the fence. So all he needs to do is begin cleanly. He doesn't want to miss it like he did in that Horsham Cup. So he's on top for me. And it's hard to go past Ferdinand Boy. I mean, Tigalong Tonk, I'm a huge fan, and his exploits and winning a Group 1 more recently have been fantastic. But I think Ferdinand Boy will lead and be hard to hold out.
The great Molly, Who are you tipping?
Shimmer Shine in the cup for me. I just can't go against him, and I'm going to have to go Tigalong Tonk in the match race. I think he's got the strength. He's going to benefit from not having to weave around any other dogs. I think Tigalong Tonk in the match race for me.
Well, a huge thanks to you, Molly, and also George. In the best bet segment, I'm going with Shimmer Shine to win the cup, Ferdinand Boy to win the sprint. Don't forget about the Facebook live stream from GRV. That'll be throughout the night, so you can keep up to date with all of the racing at Warrnambool, as well as being on the Watchdog app. Well, that wraps it up. Happy punting at the Warrnambool Cup tonight.